What's up, everybody? It's Man of Low Moral Fiber here. My name's Luke, and welcome to Part 2 of my Overpower Level 8 Melee playthrough. Part 1 concluded with me killing Captain Flint, and now I am on my way to Sanctuary for the first time. I will leave a link to Part 1 of this series in the description of the video. What I'm going to do now is try to get to the Catch-A-Ride as quickly as possible. If you make it to the Catch-A-Ride quick enough, Angel won't be able to get to some of her dialogue, and you won't actually have to wait to pick up the Hyperion loader part that is in the bandit camp. However, it's very hard to do that as Zero. I'm not sure if it's even possible. However, with a Fleet Maya or a Salvador spec'd for movement speed, you can easily make it to the Catch-A-Ride before she starts talking, and you can then just run in here and pick up the Hyperion part. Right now, though, I'm going to have to wait for a second until she finishes this little dialogue before I can actually pick that piece up, and I won't be able to progress until then. So during the time, I'll make use of it and kill a few enemies. Now I'll pick up that part, the adapter it's called, to the Catch-A-Ride, and I'll be on my way to Sanctuary here momentarily. Obviously this is to summon a car for the first time. Not too big a fan of driving in Borderlands 2. It doesn't have the best driving mechanics, but that's alright. It's not really a driving game, and the driving parts are few and far between, thankfully, and it's not too bad. However, every time I do have to drive, I'm reminded of just how poor of a driver I am. Hopefully I don't make too many driving mistakes once we actually get in the vehicle. Sometimes there will be some bullymongs out here that will be bothering you, but it looks like all the bullymongs are actually fighting psychos and marauders inside the camp, so we don't have to worry about those right now. Go ahead and get our light runner. It's kind of weird because the bandit technicals are actually both faster than the light runner, whether it is the catapult or saw blade technical. However, the catapult technical is even faster than the saw blade technical. As you can see, I already made a driving mistake, drove halfway up that wall there and got a little bit stuck. Now, what I'm going to do here is make sure that I avoid this fast travel station or this save station over here to the left where the road bends. That's where the fast travel actually is for the Three Horns Divide, but I'm going to make sure that I don't activate that save station and only activate this one over here. And that's an important for a skip that I'll be using here in just a second. So I'll go ahead and kill this guy and then radio into Sanctuary with the button here, and now I'll be on my way to Corporal Reese's echo recorder, I think it is, that we have to pick up in order to gain access to Sanctuary. Again, making sure that I do not activate that save station over there. That's definitely the goal there. You don't want to do that because, like I said, we will be using that for a skip here in just a moment. His recorder is right here. You can drive up to it. You don't want to get too close because then the bullymongs will spawn. And I just want to pick up the recorder and throw my decoy and then get back in the car and on my way to Corporal Reese once Roland is done talking. Cars are pretty weak, especially at Overpower Level 8, to enemy attacks, and they'll blow up pretty quickly, and you can definitely lose a lot of time getting over to Corporal Reese if your car breaks. As you can see, again, I'm not a very good driver. I wasn't actually able to make it all the way to this little bone area. Now that I'm in here, I'll work my way towards Corporal Reese. He's obviously going to be back here to the left. And there's going to be three, usually, I think they're always melee enemies, but they can end up being ironclads or psychos if you get some poor spawns. If you get lucky, they'll all just be regular lunatics, and they'll be pretty easy to take out. Looks like I have an ironclad here, though. Make sure the ironclad catches some kunai, and we get a good execute on him. He'll be taken out fairly easily. Go ahead and talk to Corporal Reese now after we kill these little monglets. Alright, now instead of walking around, I recommend taking this ice path up here. You guys might have already seen or know about this, but this will allow you to get back to where the power core is going to drop a lot quicker than you would otherwise be able to if you walked all the way around. It's always going to drop from a single normal type lunatic that's going to spawn out of the back door of this hut that I'm about to get to right now. So he comes out this back door over here. It's always the first normal lunatic that's going to drop the power core. Once you have the power core, you can jump off here, and you'll actually respawn over at Sanctuary's gate. And this will allow you to save the time of walking all the way back up to your car and then driving all the way back over to this area. Definitely saves a lot of time. It's a pretty useful skip, and it allows you to get to Sanctuary a little bit quicker. And once you get to Sanctuary, the game opens up a little bit more to you. So you might be looking to do that just to go ahead and get the first part of this game out of the way. Now that we're in Sanctuary, there's kind of a rather long section of just kind of completing chores here in Sanctuary, where they kind of want you to learn the layout of the town and where everything is and everything. So we're going to go ahead and play this back at a little bit higher speed. Actually, a lot bit higher speed, about 4 times speed. Starting now. Excellent. Now we're going quick. Jessup will open the gate for you. Don't actually hit the button to talk to Jessup. Just stand by him, and he'll actually end up opening the gate a little bit quicker for you. I always just stand at the garage door to get the scooter cutscene to activate as quickly as possible. Now, obviously, you probably remember that you're going to have to pick up 2 little power cores, I think it is, or shield generators, maybe, and then the iridium from Scooter. If you've already bought all the Crazy Earl upgrades, it'll have that little objective already done for you, and you can just go ahead and install the 3rd fuel cell. Yeah, it's a fuel cell. I don't know if that's what I said it was. I think I said it was a shield generator. It is a fuel cell. My bad on that. We'll be going in here now and getting the Firehawk's echo recorder, and now we'll be heading on over to the Firehawk, and that'll actually be the longest portion of this video once we get to the Frostburn Canyon, because that's actually where we start getting to enemies. Right now, this was a lot of travel stuff, and that's kind of why we're playing through it kind of quickly. Again, I'm not a very good driver, I apologize. Was able to make it across that bridge without dying, though. That was a pretty big accomplishment for me. Go ahead and catch a follow-through bonus now on my way to Frostburn Canyon. Help us get there a little bit quicker, and we got to kill something along the way. It was fun. Alright, now that we're here at Frostburn Canyon, we're just going to try to avoid as many enemies as possible and get to Lilith as fast as we can. So I'm going to catch a follow-through bonus off some of these lunatics that are coming through here. Lunatics and marauders, I guess. And obviously we're going to try to get into the cave so that we can eventually work our way over past Clayton's area and down to the Firehawk's lair. The first time I was playing through this game, I was playing through with a few of my friends, and we definitely got lost in this part. We made it, I was kind of exploring like the back areas, I wasn't really going towards the quest objective, and they were all running through that, and they set off all the markers, follow the, charred bandits, and I couldn't find actually how to get, because they got to like the 6th one and then all died and respawned over where I was, and then we had no idea how to get back over here, and we actually wasted about 30 minutes, and Frostburn Canyon always reminds me of that particular little bit of irritation that we ran into in that situation. We weren't too far into the game at that point, only a couple, I think about an hour in or something, and we were all kind of irritated with each other that we couldn't figure it out. It was kind of funny. Alright, so we're going to try to catch a follow-through bonus again, and then move quicker, hopefully, down towards Lilith, because right now we're going a little bit slowly. Went a long ways without a follow-through bonus there. That was pretty bad. Unfortunately, the enemy spawns didn't line up right for me, and I just wasn't able to find another thing to kill. But we made it all the way to the first booby-trapped cave entrance, and that's pretty good. It didn't take us too long to get here, and that's a good thing. The main time spent during this particular portion of the storyline is definitely going to be the staged enemy spawns once you actually get to Lilith. They don't spawn too quickly or anything, and you have to kill quite a few enemies to get past that. And that's what we're looking to get to here. We can avoid that extra psycho there. He can't get past this spike area up here, or he won't even enter it, in fact, so you don't really have to kill him if you don't want to. You can skip that little first part by jumping that gap, but be careful of falling into the spikes or hitting that top stalagmite, and it will knock you down into the spikes. I don't know if that's a stalactite or a stalagmite if it grows from the ceiling. Took like a field trip to a cave system once and they told me, but I have since forgotten that. Alright, so now we're finally to this part where I was talking about, where there's going to be some staged enemy spawns for us. I've tried to execute one of those bruisers or guys before Lilith actually blows them up, and you can't actually. I think they're actually invincible, because I've landed a pretty good execute on one and his health bar didn't even move. So, kind of weird there. Now, Lilith has you revive her here. I'm sure a lot of Maya players probably already know this, but you can actually revive her with Maya's res skill to save you, a nominal portion of time in this little story quest here. But yeah, Lilith has you revive her, and then you're going to grab some iridium nuggets, and then you actually get to go through a fight with her. Now, as a Melee Zer0, this fight that you're about to participate in can be kind of irritating because rather than being a actual ally, Lilith makes it a lot harder. She'll blow enemies that you've just thrown kunai in right into your face so that they'll damage you, or she'll move an enemy while you're mid-execute to break your mini-must-fall chain. She's the true definition of a frenemy in this particular battle, so you have to watch out for that. I know that probably a lot of people, their first time through the game, actually had Lilith steal their second wins when they were trying to get a revive off one of these enemies if they had been downed during this particular section, and Lilith would steal the kill. And that would be kind of irritating as well. So just pay attention to Lilith's, help, that's in quotation marks, because she's going to make it a little bit more difficult and unpredictable for you. See, right now she's kind of breaking my mini-must-fall chains, or at least trying to, getting in the way of my executes and everything else. It's actually kind of aggravating. Could definitely get through it a lot faster if she didn't spend any time doing that. But, it is what it is. Go ahead and try to get a mini-must-fall chain through a few of these ironclad lunatics right now. But they do have quite a bit more health, and you have to be a little bit more precise when you're executing these guys because they are tougher than your normal lunatics, obviously. Go ahead and get kunai on them, and we'll try to kill some more now. Again, Lilith is trying to ruin my day by getting in the way of my executes and everything else that she's doing right now. But we've got to this first badass, which means that we're pretty much through this first wave of enemies. The first wave is relatively calm compared to the second wave. The first wave really doesn't have anything other than melee enemies, but in this second wave we will get some marauders with guns, which are obviously a lot more dangerous. Once we get past them, though, we'll pretty much have the this particular section of the story quest whipped, and we'll be moving on to the next area, which is the Bloodshot Stronghold. That'll actually be the next video because we're reaching the end of this video. I don't want to make the episodes too awful long, but I don't want to make them too short either, so 10 to 15 minutes is kind of my goal for this series per episode. If things end up being just a little bit longer than 15 minutes, I guess that'll be alright. I'll try not to have any that are like longer than 20 though. Anyway, now we're going to be killing the last few of these enemies. There was actually, some pretty good reception to my first video in this series, and I am definitely going to go ahead and play this series out to completion, past to where I killed the warrior. And if it's still going well by then, we can continue on to maybe some DLCs or side quests. Anyway, we're finishing up right now. Like I said, there are gun enemies now, and you will have to pay attention for them. As a Melee Zer0, you should prioritize gun enemies higher than melee enemies, because it's pretty easy to skirt the melee enemies, especially if you happen to have follow-through active, where you have a bonus movement speed. Even more so if that happens to be boosted by your class mod, if you're wearing a legendary ninja or a stalker mod perhaps. I actually really enjoyed using the stalker mob for mobbing before the legendary ninja came out, but now that the legendary ninja is out, it's definitely the superior option to choose. It's weird that Lilith kind of runs into nowhere and then spawns back into the middle of the arena, but that's alright. Get her that last iridium piece, and she will eventually try to teleport us into the Bloodshot Stronghold. As you probably know, she is unsuccessful with this, and we have to go acquire the car to actually eventually get into the Bloodshot Stronghold, and that gives us our first introduction to Ellie. That will all be covered in episode 3 of this series, so if you guys haven't yet, please take the time to subscribe. I'd really appreciate that, and it would let you know when my next episodes are coming out. I also do some other content as well that's not just episodic playthroughs like this, so if you're interested in those, please check those out as well. Otherwise, guys, I thank you very much for watching. I very much do appreciate it, and the rest of this video will conclude of me working my way back out of this little area and onto the next area. Episode 3 will be coming soon. Once again, guys, thanks for watching, and I do hope to catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Still getting used to this. Reminds me though, Bloodshot Stronghold is full of real tough customers. Might want to train a bit before you take them on. You're doing good out there, by the way.